Hola a todos, ¿cómo están el día de hoy? Today is our fourth lesson of Introduction to Spanish. I hope that until this point you kind of start to learn it, feel connected to the language, also that you have enjoyed the lessons. Today we're gonna talk about numbers. We're gonna do numbers from 30 to 100 because on Tuesday, you remember, we already did from 1 to 20 and obviously you study now, so it's gonna be super easy for you to learn until 100. Then we're gonna move on to nationalities. Obviously not from the whole world, but we're gonna do nationalities and we're gonna learn how to convert from masculine to feminine with nationalities, okay? And by the end of the lesson, we're gonna learn some typical questions, okay? Then you ask when you meet someone, like when you travel, when you in a different country, when you're on the beach, when you're on the bar, okay? So stay until the end of the lesson. I hope that you enjoy the whole lesson. Then you're gonna learn new things. So the question actually is, are you ready? Let's see. Okay, so now we're gonna learn numbers. On Tuesday, we already learned from 1 to 20, del 1 al 20. Today, we're gonna learn from 21 to 100. I know it looks like it's a lot, but if you already review and check your numbers from 1 to 20, especially from 1 to 10, this is super easy. The rest is super easy, okay? So, first we're gonna start. 20, 20, okay? And then how it's gonna go from 20 to 30? With 20, it's very particular because it's gonna be just one word. It's gonna be 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Okay? So this is from 21 to 30. 30 is 30. Now, we're gonna skip, for now, how to do 31, 32, 33, because we're gonna learn how to basically say 30, 40, 50. Okay? So, until this point, it's clear. Del 20 al 30, from 20 to 30 is one word. Okay? The one that we just did. So now let's just focus on how to learn the full word of 30, 20, 30, 40, 50, okay? We started. 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. I repeat. 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. So this is, the numbers from 30 to 100, just when it's 30, 40, 50. Now, you probably think, okay, so now when you want to say 31 or 81, 51, it's exactly like in 20. No. From 30 to 100 is different. Write it down, when you write it down. Why? Let's see one example. In the case of 30, okay, if I want to say 31, 31, I will write 30, and then y, and then uno. And then 30 y 2, and so on. Okay? Until the 9, Same with any other number, 60, 61, 62, 71, 72. That is the way to write it down. However, okay, when you talk, okay, obviously you're not gonna say 80 y 1, 90 y 2. No, you're not gonna say that. It's gonna sound probably exactly the same than on the 20s, okay? You're gonna say 31, 32, 91, 92, 81, 84, okay? So when you pronounce, it sounds exactly, very similar, pretty much the same, than when you say 21, 22. The only difference is that then like on the 20s, okay, los 20s, you write it all together in one word, okay? And when it's from 30 to 100, it's gonna be, divided with a Y, with a E, with a J in the middle, okay? But to pronounce it is basically the same, okay? You don't need to make any pause to say the whole thing together, okay? So these are the numbers from 30, del 30 al 100, okay? Any questions or any suggestions, do not forget always to put it on the comments. But now we're gonna move on to nationalidades, nationalities. Okay, so now we are on nationalities. But before that, from the last sequence, I just want to clarify something that it might confuse you when I was doing like 31, 32, okay? When I was trying to make the composed numbers and I put the Y in the middle, and you probably at the beginning, in the first lesson, when I teach you the sound of J, okay, of Y, I know that you have the sound of J most of the time, but it also can have the sound of E, okay? So J or Y, how it's called in many other countries, not always gonna have the sound of J. Sometimes have the sound of E. That is the reason why in this case, and I just teach you, it was like 31, 32, 41, 91, because it was sounded like E, okay? Like I say on the first lesson, about these phonetically sounds, these particular sounds about some letters, we will keep learning through the, through the whole course, okay? So now we can move to nationalities. Okay, so now we're nationalities. Now, with nationalities, as you probably already know, most of the, all the nouns and the nationality, the profession, you have the gender in Spanish. With nouns, you have gender, masculine and feminine, okay? There are a lot of neutral words, but we're going to concentrate now about the ones that change from male to female. And we're going to talk about nationalities. So with nationalities, we're going to start first with the basic one. The nationalities then end up in O, okay? And that's a male form. If you want to convert it to a female form, you just need to swap it for A, okay? Ejemplos: peruano, peruana, argentino, argentina, lituano, lituana, eslovaco, eslovaca, okay? So that is with the ones that end up in O, and then you swap it for A. But now, not all the nationalities in the male form end up in a vowel. Some of them end up in a consonant, okay? Like in the case of Inglés. So what you gonna do that? Inglés is the Englishman. So Inglés, to convert it to a female, English woman, you just add the A. So Inglés, inglesa. Or francés, francesa. Español, española. Okay? So it's very straightforward. If end up with O, you swap it for A. If end up with a consonant, you add A. Okay? So this is regarding nationalities and how we can convert it from a masculine to a feminine form. There are some exceptions. I will just mention a few of them. When and the male and the female form are exactly the same. In the case of Morocco, okay, what in Spanish is Marruecos. In the case of Marruecos, okay, it will be Marroquí, el Marroquí, like the male form, la Marroquí, female form, okay? So it will be exactly the same. El Marroquí, la Marroquí, okay? Or in the case of Iran, okay, it will be el Iraní, la Iraní. Or in the case of Belgium, it will be el belga, la belga. So it does not change because of the gender. It's still the same word. Belga is belga, Irani is Irani, Marroquí is Marroquí. Also in the case of Pakistan, it will be, el Pakistani, la Pakistani. El Pakistani is because of the article, then I will learn later on, but it's the male form, and then la Pakistani is the female form. So in those cases then I just mentioned, like Marruecos, Iran, Belgica, okay, Pakistan, the gender does not change, okay? So this is regarding nationalities, and now we're gonna move to the most typical phrases that we use when we meet somebody, when we traveling, in a bar, on the beach, in some places, like when you're like in the museum and stuff like that. Okay, so we're just moving on to that. Okay, so now we end the last part of this lesson. We're now gonna do what we said at the beginning of the video today. We're gonna learn some standard questions, then you ask to someone that you just meet, when you're traveling, maybe you are in a bar or on the beach, you just want to start a conversation. So we're gonna learn the standard basic questions, okay? So the first one is obviously very typical. It's like, ¿cómo estás? Okay, super casual, very fresh. Another one is, ¿de dónde eres? Very important. This third one is, it's optional, but you can also ask, like, ¿dónde vives? Because, ¿de dónde eres, where you're from? Like, you can live in another country, in another city. Okay, so, ¿de dónde eres? And, ¿dónde vives? Okay? Another one is like, ¿qué haces? Now, ¿qué haces? Yeah, is what do you do? But maybe it sounds too straightforward, too direct. It's not wrong, it's nothing wrong, but if you want to sound more gently, more smooth, you can say like, ¿a qué te dedicas? Okay, I will repeat again. ¿A qué te dedicas? What is basically the same of ¿qué haces? Just in a more like, charming, smooth way. Okay, not to be so direct. Okay, you can ask also like, ¿en qué trabajas? Okay, o ¿dónde trabajas? Okay, or like if you meet another, if you meet this person, this group of friends, and this place, you can ask like, ¿qué haces? O ¿qué hacen aquí? No, that is basically what are you doing here, Maybe I know that you can get, oh Maria, of course they are on holiday, maybe. You don't know. Maybe they live there, maybe they work in there, maybe they, I don't know, exchange, like a student, you don't know. So you can ask like, ¿qué hacen aquí? Okay? It's kind of like implicit with the questions that I mentioned it before, but you can also ask that question. And it's another question that actually, and nowadays, on my generation, it was actually not polite to ask for people's age. However, times have changed, and people don't bother anymore about these things, about how old are you and stuff like that. And if you, I don't know, maybe if you're interested to know the age of the person you are talking with, you can ask, ¿cuántos años tienes? Okay? But obviously, like I say, it's not like you're gonna go and ask to every person, I saw a tutorial, I need to ask that to everyone. No. Obviously, depending on the conversation, you feel like you want to know, yeah, you can ask, like, ¿cuántos años tienen? Like, tienen, if it's more than one person, like we learned before. Tienes, if it's just one person. Okay? So, these are very standard questions that you ask, when you want to start to be chatty with someone. Obviously, if you are, I don't know, in a restaurant, in a bar, you can ask like, ¿quieres una cerveza? O ¿quieres beber algo? It's it's nothing wrong, it's not intrusive, it's not rude. You're just being polite, ask if they want to drink something. Okay? And I don't know, I don't want to give you bad advice, but if you want to be in touch with a person, you can ask, ¿me puedes dar tu teléfono o tu Facebook? And nowadays, to WhatsApp, to Instagram. Okay, so ¿me puedes dar? It's like, can you give me? ¿Me puedes dar? And then you ask WhatsApp, Instagram, I don't know, TikTok. Okay, things have changed so much. But yeah. in case you want to keep in contact with this person. Okay, so these are very typical, standard, chatty words that you do. You know, when you're traveling, when you meet new people. Okay, I do hope that today's class was good for you. I do hope that today you enjoyed the class. I didn't do any verbs, so probably was good. Next week we're actually gonna do some verbs. We're gonna do verbo ser, to be. So, oh my God, you need to be there. Okay, I hope that until this point you enjoying these lessons, then you think that you learn it, like I keep saying, and you feel already kind of connection with the language. Okay, you can always find me in all our social network. You can find us on Facebook. We have our main page, you know, Spanish speaking world. Also in Instagram and TikTok is actually with my name, but okay, Maria Laura if you want to find me. And I hope to see you next week on Tuesday. I hope that tomorrow, and you know, you have a wonderful Friday, you have a wonderful weekend, un lindo fin de semana, and I will see you next week. Ciao, ciao.